all together and how it goes from the start, right? Remember, we have our Android Angular application here, I'm sorry. And we have our socket server here. So on the server side, we have our file system ready to load these certificate files you will need to create a secure server connection, which is here. By enabling this, you will create an HTTPS with options which are from here. And you will have a socket working in HTTPS. But if you just want to use HTTP, you just do this. The difference is that one is going to be encrypted and the other one is not. Then we have socket IO on this side. We have the three strings that are going to be the messages we send between Angular and the server. Every time we connect to the socket, we will send this. Every time we send a message from any Angular client, we will send this string. And every time from the server we want to respond back to any client or all the clients running Angular, we will send this from the server side. All right, we said that these two arrays contains in one side all the users connected here. Be careful if you have lots of users. And here we will save all the connections. You can just do from this to only one, but well, I want it to be as best as I can to show you guys how this works, so I try to separate them. Final part for the server side, well, not the final part, I mean everything starts here, because once you run this line here, you will start listening in the port 3000. You will show this on the console, and the server is going to be ready to receive any requests. But if we can define, remember, if anyone tried to access the root of our URL, which is localhost, or our IP 3000, if he wants to access from any browser, we will send back the content of this HTML file, saying whatever you want to say. You're not allowed to come here, or maybe you just can interact and do the stuff you do here. All right, on this side, this is all the connections, all the stuff we receive from the sockets, right? This is a waiting state. So every time you receive a string like this, it means that you receive a new connection from an Angular client. So you will have this object here with all the information about that connection. So what do we do with this? Well, we push it to this array that we define right up here, and we show a console log here in our server. It's totally for debug purposes. If you want to remove this, you can do that. Another thing we do is to get the total users we have, right? And we send it back to the socket. So we send a message saying new connection. We send this message to all the users. Every time we receive this string, it means that any user from here, from Angular, is disconnected. So we will remove that connection from this array right here, and we remove that from the users array too. So this is for demo purposes. You have to be very careful here, right? And let me just comment this, be sure that I'm using the correct one. Yeah. All right. Be sure that you're not exhausting your server's memory by doing this. We will just print in here in the console on the server side the total users we have, and we will invoke this function that is just going to send to all the Angular users and a string saying a new connection, because total users connected maybe changes or something. It's just because we want to inform that. Okay, another thing we may receive from the socket is this string, which is up here. It's a string saying new message, right? So if we receive that string, it means that we have a new message from any Angular client. So what do? We grab that information, the data, sending from the client, and we just, for this simple demo, we are sending it back to all the users connected, right? To all the users. So all the users will know that one of the client was sending a message. We send this information there, and now we will see how it works on the Angular side. On the Angular side, we have first our, this is the HTML clients will see. So we have a title here. Clients will see a title, and then we'll see a button. This button we use a Bootstrap here in jQuery, and clients will see this button and will click it. Once they click it, they will go here and they will use the socket service we did, right, to invoke this function send message saying that this user is saying hello world to the server. And as we have a subscription here, right, we are subscribed to this, just like the way you subscribe to a YouTube channel. Once you subscribe, you will receive a message here automatically, just like a pipeline, saying that someone from the server is sending you a message, and all the information you want is here in this object here. So we'll console this to see what is coming from the server, right? So let's try that. Let's use one of the terminal to start our Angular application. Let's do ng-serve to start Angular. And yeah, so let me just bring this here. All right, there is running. Yeah, we have this. Let me just show you here. You will see an error here. And why this error is because our server is not running. So what do we need to do? We need to go to where our server is. Source, assets, and here is our server. So we started with, that's it, port 3000. We have one user connected. Now we won't have this error again. If we do the same here, we will have a second user here, right? So if we open the console here, right, that's it. We have two users here, right? And let's stay here in this thing. So once we click the button, right? Once we click this button, remember, we're going to run this function. This function is going to send a message to the server saying hello world, and the server is going to send this message back. We will get this here and we will console out. So this user is going to send the information, and the response is going to show up here. Let's try that. So we send a message, and we will see here that we have the message back, right? So very simple, very useful. You can use this to build chat application to communicate information between your server and your client without pushing to your server or going and getting any resources from there. I mean, if you have any news from your server to your clients, you can communicate through this. It's very simple. It's very cheap. You don't have to send requests frequently, and it's very useful. In more tutorials, I will show you how to do this from an Android application, which is very useful and easy to do. Well, I hope you like it and you learn something new. Bye then.